And so it's 2020, and you know what happened? Something called COVID hit. It hit in China in December and January, and eventually it came to our shores. We were pretty oblivious at first. In January, I believe it started in the West Coast in Washington, and then yet it wasn't big and fairly unknown. Anna and Jim and Joanne and I even went to the San Francisco divisional playoff game against the Packers, where we were abundantly kicked in the ass, but in any case, we still lived our lives like normal. Through February, it got worse. I actually traveled out to San Francisco again for a customer visit, and there was a lot of discussion at that point because it was expanding really fast. There was cruise ships quarantined on the coast, and everyone started getting scared. At that point, there started to be a lot of murmurings about what would happen. We started seeing stay-at-home orders start to come out, and we started seeing the Dow go down, and eventually, in the middle of March, actually early March, some major things happened. We had first the NCAA cancel its tournament. We had the NBA closed down. We had my annual trip to Vegas being canceled. And in the middle of all that, on March 17th, we also had a state order where all bars were canceled or closed down. Bars and restaurants were closed down in Wisconsin. Here's a picture of us having our last drink before 5 o'clock and trying to enjoy what we could, not knowing what was going to happen. After that, people started responding. You can see the FUCK COVID beer. That actually came out 6 weeks after this all started, but it was a really eerie and strange time. You can see here there was empty shelves at the grocery store, and what was empty was toilet paper. For whatever reason, there was a run on toilet paper. Then there was a run on masks as everyone started building masks and wanting to get masks. So Anna made some, and we at work had to find a bunch. We reverted to playing poker online, a lot of Zoom meetings, a lot of team meetings, and there's a picture of us there playing poker, as well as the video chat from the poker game. So I had a lot of extra time on my hands, and I had a bucket list item, which was to build a rocker. So I started looking into what kind of rockers I wanted to build, and I stumbled upon this guy, Sam Maloof, and he built an incredibly beautiful rocker that you can see in the pictures here. And so given that I had time on my hands and something that I needed to occupy my mind with, and as well as the fact that it was a bucket list item, I decided to make a Maloof rocker. I have decided to build myself a Maloof-inspired rocking chair, and I bought all the pieces of wood from Bell Forest Products, which is walnut, and then I've also got all my templates from the Wood Whisperer, and I also have the video series that I'm following to do this. So I'm in the shop with my son Logan. Say hello, buddy. All right, so my plan is to start building this thing. It is May 1st, 2020, and we're in the middle of the COVID situation, which has been a pain in the ass, and my idea is to build my rocking chair because I have a lot of time on my hands. My plan also is to record the date and time of every day I work to see how long this takes me. From the Wood Whisperer, what I've seen is it takes about 90 hours of work. I'm guessing it'll take me a lot longer, but I'm going to try and record the time just to see what the real truth is. Here you can see the pieces of walnut that I've bought for the rocker. I have not figured out what pieces are going to go where yet, but I will soon. And then we also have these pieces over here. So today the plan is to build the templates. You can see where we're starting, which is a couple pieces of 1/4-inch plywood with our templates, and the plan is basically to glue those templates on, cut the pieces out, and then oscillate sand them down to size. I don't think we'll get that all done today. I don't plan to get that all done today, but I definitely wanted to get a start. So here we go. The first step in making the templates is to take my 1/4 inch piece of plywood. I then applied some Super 77 adhesive, sprayed that onto the plywood. I laid out the paper templates, rolled those on carefully, and then rough cut out those bits and pieces, and Izzy helped me do that. And from there we moved on to a more detailed cut.
So now we have all these beautiful templates cut out randomly and roughly with the jigsaw. Thanks to the help of Isabel. Say hello, Isabel.
Hello.
Thank you. Can you say thank you?
Thank you.
No, I meant thank you to you.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyway, we're good to go. Now tomorrow, I'm going to take the bandsaw and clean these up to edge, and then also use my cool little oscillating spindle sander to finish them up. All right, we're just cutting some templates on the bandsaw. Thought I'd show one. So now I've got them all cut up. Here's an example. This is the side spindle profile. And now what I have to do is get any of the rough edges that are above the line, something that just didn't come smooth, get it to the place where I like the profile. So it's traceable and it works great. So that's what I'm going to do next.
At this point, I finally finished up all the template work and got actually into the act of real woodworking. So the first step is to move on to the seat construction. The first thing I did was to select the pieces that I wanted as part of the seat, and then actually draw out the template pieces to make sure that they all fit properly. After that, I actually milled all the pieces to square and then trimmed them to size. Next, I laid all the pieces so that the finished product would look the best, noting the grain directions, and what would be the middle, what would be the edges, and tried to make it look as nice as I possibly could. From there, I coopered out the inside pieces to create a nice cup in the middle to minimize how much sculpting I would have to do, maximize the amount of contour I had, and actually it was just a fun little accent to add to the project as a whole. Finally, I actually cut the dominoes for the seat when I would be ready to assemble it, and it was really important that I kept those dominoes really low and on the bottom so that it wouldn't interfere or a domino would show when I had finished sculpting the seat itself.
And now the little cross cut to get the notch out. I've got a little stopwatch here so I can get the same cut on the next piece. I am now making the rear notch in the seat, and to do that I've got to cut a 3-inch high by a 2.5-inch notch out of that gigantic beautiful piece of walnut. I considered using a bandsaw, but I didn't like the waviness, so I've got it clamped up and ready to go on my miter sled. Kind of a scary little cut, but here we go. And here we have the seat, all the final cuts done. You can see we have a 1 3/4 dado, a 1/4 inch deep here, and here, and then a 3 by 2.5-inch notch for the rear legs there. You can see how thick that is. And then it's scooped, it's coopered here in the middle, and then straightens out on the sides. So it has this nice sweeping effect. I'll maintain some thickness and get a cool groove going on. Okay, so we're now in the middle of trying to make the dados on the seat that will accept the legs. So basically what we've got to do is create a dado, which you can see here, side view here and there, an inch thick all the way around. Got to do that on both back legs, and then we've got to do it for the front leg, which is this little recess right here. So basically I'll set it up and then we'll record it.
All right, ready to cut the dado. It's really important that you don't miss the edge.
So, on to the next part of the seat, and basically what I've done is done a bunch of what we call hogging out to get some depth out of the seat, and so that when we start grinding, we don't have to grind this all. And I basically used a bandsaw to take my drawing and then mark a line on the side in terms of what I wanted the maximum depth of the seat to be, and then did that along, created a side cut there, which is pretty hard to do actually, right here, and then matched this cut to this board and this board and cut those out, making sure that I didn't go too far into this. So the next step on this project then, this part of the project, is to glue the seat together using the dominoes, and then it's going to be sculpting that bad boy. That should be interesting. Okay, I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm starting to do the grinding of the seat, so I want to take a little video of that. This is after a lot of work and a lot of dust happening. Basically, the base is power carved out, and I have gone ahead and scraped a whole bunch on this side. But on this side, you can see all those scratches from the power machine that I have to get out yet. So yeah, this is a beautiful project, but very, 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 very time consuming and very difficult.
After doing all that sanding and all that scraping, I then moved on to prepare the chair for the spindles that it would receive in the base. I drilled 7 holes, 1/2 inch thick or round, and then they had to be stopped at 1 1/4 inches from the outside edges. And then remember, the chair was coopered, and so it had a bit of a bow, so I had to stop it on the corners and then make it so the holes were shallower and shallower as you meant the middle. That ensures that the spindles are going to be level horizontally when we finish it. After that, I sanded and sanded and sanded, and I have a pretty nice looking chair base.